Om Jai Swaha Mata.
Devotees, today Vyas Purnima, Guru Purnima, as we say, a day which is dedicated especially to the honoring, the worship, the glorification of the Guru. We have maintained time and again that basically there are three types of gurus. There is the Diksha Guru, or the spiritual preceptor. There is the Vidya Guru, the teacher. And there is the Kul Guru, the family priest. In some cases, each person is different, each one is different. But the Guru Gita tells us that if the Guru has the capacity, he can be all three. So on this auspicious day, when we worship the Guru, it is especially the Diksha Guru that we focus upon. The one who has initiated us into divine life. Why do we become initiated? There are two reasons basically, two compelling reasons. It is said life can be compared to a boat or ship sailing on the ocean of duality, mundane existence. A ship without a captain would very soon come to an unfortunate destination. Maybe it will sink because there is no guidance. Initiation is a process through which we accept a captain for the ship of life who we call the Guru. And he is supposed to guide us as we go through life, this world of duality. We all need guidance at some point in time. And so we are instructed by our scriptures, by the fathers of Dharma. Guru is important, Guru is necessary. Again we are told, when we are born, we are in a state of impurity, spiritually that is, Ashuddha. When we become initiated, it is a spiritual birth. So we are, as we say, twice born, those who are initiated. And in various ways we are told that person who is not initiated, it is very difficult. As a matter of fact, the older ones will tell us, you shouldn't do puja until you're initiated. Meaning, the state of impurity is there. And if you have to perform pujas and so on, there must be that state of purity. It is just to emphasize the importance of the Guru and the initiation process. So if one were to analyze, these two are compelling reasons why initiation is necessary. The first one I mentioned, where the Guru is the guide, that is key for success in life. This evening, I'm going to just look at a few verses from the Guru Gita, which will help us to understand both sides, the Guru and the disciple. What the Guru is supposed to be like, what is expected of him, and of course, as disciples, what is expected of us. So, before we proceed further, I would like to, on this very auspicious day, glorify the Guru. I would like you to visualize your respective Gurus in the mind's eye. If you know your Guru mantras, you can chant it. If you prefer to join together with me, feel free. We glorify the spiritual preceptor. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ। जन्म जन्म से भाग्य फल को पाओ। गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ। गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ। जन्म जन्म से भाग्य फल को पाओ। गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ। लागे मोह माया ना कबहू जगत के। दया सिंधु गुरु जी को चरण ध्याओ। दया सिंधु गुरु जी को चरण ध्याओ। गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ। भटकता रहा हूँ मैं युग युग से स्वामी। मिली ज्ञान आँखें हरि दर्श पाओ। मिली ज्ञान आँखें हरि दर्श पाओ। गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ। काम क्रोध मद लोभ शत्रु है भारी। गुरु ज्ञान खड्ग से मारा भगाओ। गुरु ज्ञान खड्ग से मारा भगाओ। गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ। जिस वेद कहता अजन मायन दी। उस देख कर मन की दुविधा मिटाओ। जिस वेद कहता अजन मायन दी। उस देख कर मन की दुविधा मिटाओ। उस देख कर मन की दुविधा मिटाओ। गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ। गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ। Sri Guru Maharaj ki jai. Devotees, Guru Gita. Who narrated the Guru Gita? What is its authority? Sri Suji Maharaj, who was a disciple of that great Guru Ved Vyasji, in Naimisharanya, many years ago, having conversation, having discussion on dharma, philosophy, karam-kand, various aspects of life. He related Bhagavad Mahapuran, Shiv Puran, Devi Bhagavad. Many episodes were related to these sages who were absorbed in divine ecstasy. In discussions, the topic of the Guru came up. Guru, who we refer to as the spiritual preceptor. So naturally, the idea of authority would come up. Where did this all come from? So Sri Suji Maharaj, he's relating to those sages. And he's saying to them, O sages, Kailash Shikhare Ramye Bhakti Sandhananayakam Pranamya Parvati Bhaktya Shankarang Paryaprichataha. On that beautiful mountain, Kailash Parvat, Goddess Parvati, Sri Suji Maharaj is saying, bowed with great reverence before Bhagavan Shankar. That Shiva, who it is said leads one to union by devotion. Shiva. And we have explained time and again, Shiva symbolizes Vairagya, this passion. Without this passion, there can be no bhakti. So, Goddess Parvati, she bowed with great reverence to Bhagavan Shankar and she asked, what was her question? Shri Devi Uvach, Om Namo Deva Devesha Paratpara Jagat Guru Sadashiv Mahadev Guru Dikshang Pradehimi. She began by saying Om Namo Deva Devesha. Salutations to you, O Bholenath, O God, Devon Ki Dev Mahadev, O Lord of Gods. Paratpara Jagat Guru, higher than the highest, and teacher of the universe, Jagat Guru. So she recognized Shiva to be this. And these statements are made to help us to understand whatever Shiva would say would be authoritative, of course. She's saying, O benevolent one, O great God, He Mahadev, initiate me, Guru Diksha Pradehime, initiate me into the knowledge of the Guru. Initiate me into the knowledge of the Guru. Kena margena bho swamin, dehi brahmamayo bhavit. Tvam kripang kurume swamin, namami charanau tava. O Lord, by which path can an embodied soul become one with Brahm, that absolute reality? What pathway? What is the way to that supreme? And devotees, as we have been hearing time and again, Aham Brahmasmi, Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham, Tattvamasi, Ishwaran Jiva Vinashi, all these Mahavakyas, they are stated there, but how can we attain it? How can we attain to that supreme state? Now I emphasize the supreme state, because in life we all have different objectives. Most of us have material objectives. House, land, whatever have you, name, fame, position, nothing is wrong with that. But remember, Chanak Maharaj said all these things are fickle and fey. They mean nothing in the long run, because you leave everything and you go. You have to seek the ultimate reality. And what is a pathway towards that ultimate reality? By which path can an embodied soul, meaning every one of us, become one with that supreme? Oh Bholenath, compassionate one, be compassionate to me. I bow to your feet. Now notice the kind of reverence Parvati Mata had, and her approach in asking her questions. And this is the approach, the attitude students should have, disciples should have. It goes without saying. Ishwarvach, Sri Suchi Maharaj is now saying, O sages, then that Supreme Lord, Bhagwan Shankar, Jagat Guru, he is saying, Mama Rupasi Devi Tvam, Tva Prityartham Vadamyaham, Lok Upakarakah Prashnu, Nah Kenapi Kritah Pura. O Goddess, you are my very self. You are my very self. Out of love for you, I will speak. Your question is helpful to the world. It has not been asked by anyone before, O Goddess. Now, when Bhagwan Shankar said, O Goddess, you are my very self, a question can arise. Is it that Parvati, who is the very self of Shiva, is unknowing? She is in ignorance with respect to this great truth? And Bhagwan Shankar is saying, O Parvati, you are my very self. Now, devotees, there are 4 means of communication. There is Vaikhari, Madhyama, Pashyanti and Paravani, according to Sanatana Dharma, according to Shaivism. Paravani is referred to as Shiva himself. So Shiva himself, he comes in Pashyanti, in lower forms. He asks questions, and as Paravani, he answers the questions. So when he says, O Parvati, you are my very self, there is no difference between Shiva Shakti. So actually it is Shiva himself in the form of Parvati asking these questions, and as Shiva is going to answer the questions. But why is this happening? Why? Bhagwan Shankar made the point. O Parvati, you want to help the world. This is Para Upakar. Para Upakar, O Parvati, Lok Upakarakah Prashnu. You have asked this question for the welfare, for the benefit of mankind. And we have to qualify that by saying those who want to be free from bondage, who want to go to higher levels. Because in society today, there are many who have different objectives. But Bhagwan Shankar is pointing out that those who really want to go to the higher objective, you are asking this question because you want to bring help to such a people. It has not been asked by anyone before. And O Parvati, out of love for you, I will speak. Out of love for you. Out of love for himself. And devotees, follow what I am saying here. Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. I am the form of truth, bliss, consciousness. I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Follow what I am trying to tell you. Out of this statement of Shiva, he says, O Parvati, out of love for you, my very self, I'm going to speak to you. And if I am saying, and the Vedas have said to us, that we are all part of that Shiva, then isn't a fact that is out of love for all of us he is speaking? Out of love for us. And this, devotees, brings a question to mind. Sometimes out of love we speak to people. Sometimes out of love we admonish. Sometimes out of love we use different strategies to help to put people back on the pathway. But because of ignorance, people tend to understand differently. There is fear, there is intimidation, there is negativity. You know why? Because of ego, self-centeredness. Nobody could tell me anything. I know everything. That is the problem. But Bhagavan knows that we don't know everything. We are in agyan, we are in ignorance. And out of love he speaks. And this is Jagat Guru. And devotee, similarly, the true Guru, this is the approach he will take. Because he will see everybody's reflection of himself. His very self projected. For if he said, according to Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru is everything like this, then it means, it goes without saying, everybody is a reflection of the Guru. It's the self of the Guru himself. And therefore, out of love he speaks. Out of consideration. So, the problem is not the Guru. The problem is the disciple. And the attitude that we have in response to what the Guru says. But here, you see, Parvati was a perfect disciple, so to speak. She surrendered. And this is the approach. To be enlightened, you have to surrender to the Guru, surrender to the teacher. So, all these points need to be understood. So, as I say these things, devotees, we need to look at ourselves and see what is reflected back to us. Bhagavan Shankar is saying, this knowledge you're asking about, O Parvati, Dulabham Trishu Lokeshu Tachrunushva Vadamyaham Gurung Vina Brahma Natyatya Satyam Satyam Varanani. This knowledge, O Parvati, is very difficult to obtain in the three worlds. The knowledge of the Guru, the knowledge that Parvati is seeking, that she is seeking on behalf of all of us to free us from bondage. Bhagavan Shankar is saying, this is difficult to obtain in the three worlds, O Parvati. Listen to it. Listen to it. I will reveal it to you. Apart from the Guru, there is no other Brahm. Now, you have to understand what he is saying. There is a journey towards that Brahm. If Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, then Guru has to be Brahm. So there is no other Brahm except Guru. But as I have explained time and again, that Brahm is infinite. We can't identify with it. It doesn't have a form. It's unconditioned without attributes. And we are conditioned to a world of space-time, causation, name and form. So we can't adjust and identify with that which is beyond attributes. Therefore, based upon that, we start with the known and we go to the unknown. So in this context, the Guru is supposed to be the known Brahm, so to speak. And if one has that right understanding, with the Guru, understanding the Guru as such, then this is the beginning of the journey. Bhagavan Shankar is saying, O Parvati, Satyam Satyam Varanani. This is the truth. This is the truth. He goes on to say, Veda Shastra Puranani, Itihasadi Kanicha, Mantrayandadi Vidyanscha, Smritir Uchatanadikam. The Vedas, he is referring to the scriptures, now Bhagavan Shankar is. The Shastras, now all these names we have heard them before. The Puranas, the various stories we have on those texts. The historical accounts and other writings. We have many, many scriptures. The science of mantra. Some people take the mantra yoga. Yantra, mystical diagrams using composite shapes, etc. The Smritis, those books that speak about the code of laws, established, traditional. Magic incantations, all these things are in Hinduism. Magic incantations, and so on, Bhagavan is saying. He goes on, Shaiva Shakt Agamadini, Anyani Vividhanicha, Apabhrangsha Kara Niha, Jivanang Bhranta Chetasam. People speak of Shaivism, the Shaiva. They speak of Shaktism, about Shakti. Various treatises and other various texts exist in this world. But Bhagavan Shankar is saying, all these things bring about the downfall of those beings whose minds are deluded. Listen carefully. Bhagavan is saying, all these he just mentioned bring about the downfall of those beings whose minds are deluded. Now what he is saying, not that these texts are not good, but if you are in delusion, you have a deluded mind, what will happen when you go to these texts? You will sink. Because you know why? You won't understand them correctly. And this is the problem in today's world. Many people download things from internet. They have access to the books. They could read themselves, no problem. No. But is it a reading exercise? Again and again we have been saying, to know the text literally is one thing, to know the earth of the text is something different. But again, in this age Kali Yuga, everybody is a jnani. Everybody is a jnani. But Bhagavan Shankar is saying, the attitude leads to a downfall. All these things. Talking about Shaktism, talking about Shaivism. For a deluded person who doesn't have the right understanding, these things are going to sink you. You're going to hear in Shaktism, the various tantric path, tantric rites, in the 5 M's. You go practice all these things and you sink up to your neck. You sink. Because superficial understanding, the illusion. This is what scriptures is saying, Shivaji is saying. He continues, Yagyo Vratang Tapodanang Japas Tiritam Tathaivacha Guru Tattvam Vigyaya Mudhasti Charite Janaha. Bhagavan Shankar is saying, Those people are fools who engage in sacrificial rites, vows, penance, jap, charity, and also pilgrimages without knowing the Guru principle. So this is the factor here. The understanding, the knowledge of the Guru principle. All the things you do otherwise, Bhagavan Shankar classifies us as fools if you don't have the knowledge of the Guru principle. If you go to Ramayana, when Bhagavan Sri Ram said, Pratham Bhakti Santan Kar Sangha, Dushirat Mama Katha Prasanga, is a journey, you know. You associate with holy men, you become informed, wise, etc. You start to listen to scriptures, read to you. But then you know what? Guru Pada Pankaj Seva Tisari Bhakti Aman. You need an enlightened Guru, no matter who you are. Even the Gurus need a Guru. The Guru is the way. This is what Bhagavan Shankar is saying to us. Without the knowledge of the Guru principle, our jap, our tap, our yajna, all these principles and practices will come to naught. Now, knowing the Guru principle doesn't mean that knowing the Guru, you know, he named Pandit so-and-so and he lived in so-and-so. That is not the Guru principle, you know. That is the Guru form. You have to know the Guru principle. And this is what the Guru Gita is all about. So what I am saying, you know, many of us, we celebrate Guru Purnima, we worship the Guru, etc., etc. All these things are good. Yes, they bring about a certain degree of psychological comfort. But spiritually, if I don't understand and live up to the Guru principle, where am I going? Where am I going? So we have to understand the Guru principle. Gurur buddhyam atmanu nan yatya satyang satyang nasangshayaha talabhartam prasannastu kartabyohi manishibhihi. The Guru is not different from knowing self, from the knowing self. Now, this is an important statement here to my mind. The Guru is not different from the knowing self. We have to consider the Guru as such. But then I look at the other side, that the Guru has to have the capacity for that understanding, for that realization. If the Guru doesn't have that realization, then everything falls down. How could he guide you to know the self if he himself doesn't identify with the self? To whom much is given, much is expected. And maybe this is one of the reasons why, you know, each and anybody becomes a Guru. Each and anybody becomes a Guru. Put on the garb and so on, and Guru Bangail. Are you qualified? What sacrifice have you done? What is your extent, what the extent of your realization of that Supreme Purush? Questions have to be asked. You see, the scriptures tell us you don't initiate with the most popular man, you know. You don't initiate with those who, the best singers, or the best jokers, or whatever. I've said this over and over. When it comes to crunch, life is about living and the value, the experience of the Guru. The spirituality of the Guru is what is going to help you. Bhagavan Shankar is emphasizing that. He said, without doubt, this is the truth. This is the truth. Satyam, satyam, na sangshayaha. There is no doubt about it, O Parvati, the Guru principle. Therefore, wise men indeed should make an effort to attain him. Wise men should make an effort to attain him. Hey Parvati, Guru Vidya Jagan Maya Dehe Chagyana Sambhava Udayo Yak Prakashena Guru Shabdena Kathyati. The illusion of the world, the veiled knowledge born of ignorance, resides in the body of a person. He by whose light, that means true knowledge, arises, he by whom true light, that knowledge arises, is referred to by the word Guru. Notice what the Guru is. He helps that true knowledge, that light, inner light, to wake up inside of you. Sarva Papa Vishud Ata Shri Guru Pada Sevanat Dehi Brahma Bhaved Yasma Tvat Kripartham Vadamite. Out of compassion for you, I shall tell you how the embodied soul can become Brahm, his self being purified of all sins through service at the feet of the Guru. Bhagavan Shankar emphasizes the feet of the Guru. Now, we all know, we have been saying time and again, we have to worship the Guru in certain ways, you know. We have to have the pure love for the Guru, the attitude for the Guru. With respect to the Guru, all those things are informed here. Bhagavan Shankar is saying, the worship of the feet of the Guru, Dhyana Moolam Guru Murti, Puja Moolam Guru Padam, Mantra Moolam Guru Vakya, Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa. This is the importance of the Guru. He's saying, wash the feet of the Guru, you sprinkle out water in your head. That is like water from all the places of pilgrimage. Guru, Bhagavan Shankar's words, you know. Let me make it up. And it is recommended, devotees. I would like people to, if you can possibly get a copy of the Guru Gita and try to read it. But let's look at the word Guru. He's saying, Gukaras Swandhakarascha Rukaras Teja Uchyate Agyana Gramakam Brahma Guru Reva Na Sanshaya. The syllable Gu in Guru, Gu is darkness. And the syllable Ru is said to be light. There is no doubt that the Guru is indeed the supreme knowledge that swallows the darkness of ignorance. So the Guru is the one who takes us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of wisdom. He teaches us in various ways, admonishes us. As I said, I mentioned different strategies he uses because he wants to get that inner light very much ablaze inside of the individual.
Om Jai Swaha Mata Maya Jai Swaha Mata Tum Agni ki Shakti Tum Agni ki Shakti Tum Sachi Mata